Yeah, I can tell you, Laura, that the traffic is light here in Longyearbyen. So wherever they need to get to this afternoon, no problem. Yeah, it is afternoon here. It is almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, about 7 hours ahead. I'm in Svalbard. I know you guys talked about a little earlier. Way up in the Arctic, we're at about 78 degrees latitude. So literally just a few hundred miles from the North Pole. And as I think you guys explained, I am following a really cool expedition. These two Norwegian women are going and conducting citizen science out in a very isolated part of the island. They had to polar bear proof their hut. They're going to stay there 9 months, spending all 3 months of total darkness, even at that cabin. I would go nuts, but I heard that they are packing chocolate and wine, so they should be good. So you're looking at some of the mountains of Svalbard in the distance. I'm in the town of Longyearbyen. It's really by far the largest settlement. There are a couple smaller ones, but there's a couple thousand people here, and I'm going to give you kind of a little panoramic view. You can see some buildings here. This is one of the, I think, two hotels you can stay at here. And in the distance behind me, eventually up here, you'll see where two glaciers meet. It's off in the distance. And of course, those glaciers are a fraction of what they used to be. This is an area that is changing really fast because the Gulf Stream literally dead ends here in Svalbard. So all that ocean heat, 90% of the heat in our warming planet is absorbed by the oceans, and it's all transported on the Gulf Stream. So a much warmer climate here, and a really cool story that I hope to tell you guys about. And they're connecting with teachers in classrooms around the world. So if you're a science teacher and you want to connect with Hilda and Suneva's expedition, there's going to be a link and more information to come.